The Netflix original series Stranger Things is driven by its characters, who, while searching for their friend Will, meet the mysterious Eleven, an outsider with special abilities linked to a dark opposing reality called the Upside Down. But why is it called the Upside Down? Why not something like the Shadow Realm or the Netherworld? In Season 1, Episode 2, Eleven flips a Dungeons and Dragons game board in order to explain that Will is trapped in an alternate dimension, thus the name the Upside Down.
I don't understand.
Perhaps there's more to the idea than a reference. Maybe the answer is something more clever, something that Stranger Things as a series is trying to present to its viewers. Let's call this idea upside-down-ness. Upside-down-ness is tied to representations of inversions in settings, characters, and camera shots, techniques that tap into a rich and effective cinematic history. One of the more obvious ways to represent upside-downness is through setting. The use of the upside-down setting is nothing new, appearing in experimental films by Ernie Gare, and as early as the turn of the 20th century in the film Upside Down or The Human Flies by Walter Booth. This phenomenon can be traced back even further to the operation of the camera obscura, the technological genesis of filmmaking, in which images of the outside world are projected through a pinhole onto an opposing wall, where these images, due to the nature of light, appear upside down. More recently, films like Inception and 2001: A Space Odyssey rely on the eye-popping technique of turning an environment on its head. This technique helps the viewers make sense of how the world they're seeing operates. We can visually understand the logic of the inner dream world as being affected directly by the state of the outer world. Think of these scenes as a manifestation of a world's physical logic. These settings are places we, as viewers, are familiar with. Most audiences know what a city looks like, and yet turning one upside down suddenly makes it unfamiliar, not only equipping the audience with a sense of the otherworldly, but preparing viewers to expect the unexpected. These decisions have wide implications for story. In cases where settings remain intact, upside-downness can serve to teach us about characters and how they navigate their relation to the world. In Top Gun, we are meant to see Maverick as special, a standout among his peers, something we learn through Maverick's skillful use of inversion.
You were in a 4G, inverted dive with a MiG-28?
Yes, ma'am.
In Django Unchained, Django spends most of the movie being a badass and inverting the stereotypical expectations for the Western. Later in the film, when he's captured, he's literally hanged upside down. This scene shows how Django's world is attempting to remind him and us of the position he is supposed to occupy. This, of course, doesn't last long. In The Empire Strikes Back, Luke Skywalker is pummeled by a wampa and hanged upside down, just out of reach of his lightsaber. He appears weak until he establishes his abilities using the Force to wield his laser sword, and again take his place as the hero of the film. In each of these instances, upside-downness effectively renegotiates the audience's understanding of how a character is situated within their world. These inversions serve as opportunities for the characters to confront their existence, forcing them to reimagine their orientation and prove what they're made of. In each of these instances, the hero's resolve and commitment to their perspective alters the world surrounding. Alternatively, upside-downness can also show how characters change in response to their world. This shift is most apparent in the literal inversion of the camera. In one of the final scenes of The Dark Knight, Batman has beaten the Joker, physically leaving him dangling from a skyscraper. Batman right side up and the Joker upside down, visually showing that our hero has the advantage. The game is up, yet Joker still laughs, explaining that the game isn't quite finished. The camera rotates, reflecting that the Joker, while still inverted, is not defeated. A similar technique appears as a trope in M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable and Mike Nichols' Catch-22, where inversion is used to illustrate that a particular character's worldview has changed. The Upside Down in Stranger Things is part of a long-standing and ongoing cinematic conversation with inversion. What's awesome about Stranger Things is that they bring all these strategies into play in Season 2, Episode 4. After the first season, the Upside Down feels visually familiar. The use of an eerie palette swap and an ash-filled atmosphere shows that we've returned to our favorite netherworld. But as Hopper digs his way into the Upside Down, finding a new entrance into the unfamiliar, the camera reminds us that we still understand so little. Even what has become so familiar about the Upside Down is suddenly turned on its head.